Welcome to Life in Times of Cato. I am your host, Jay Cato. In today's discussion, I want to discuss a little spat that my wife and I had. And it's not really about the spat, it's what I came away thinking after the spat. So what ended up happening is we were at odds, like most couples have. And what ended up happening is that we didn't speak for a couple of days. Now, that's pretty common for a lot of relationships. But here's what I walked away thinking about when I thought about that. Your average couple, and I'm just kind of, this could be more or less, but it was just a quick little math problem that I put together, and it brought me to this thought. So if you take your average couple, let's just say they fight once a month and don't speak for 2 days. So 2 days every month, right? Over the course of 12 months, which makes 24 days. Now, if you average the time span of a marriage, right? So let's just say from 27 to 77, which would be 60 years. So you're talking, if you do the math, 24 days over the course of 60 years, that's actually 3.9 years. Now, again, I don't know that I did my math correctly. I may not have. And there's a lot of variables. Some people argue more or less. It's not a definite, right? But this is just something that this brings me to my point. So my point is that's 3.9 years lost without communication. And we take that time for granted because it's not presented to us in that way. It's not quantified in a way that it's 3 years. So it's so small, so minuscule. But the problem with that is that it is time lost. That one day you lost in making love to your spouse, getting to know more about your spouse, right? Spending time with your children, going to dinner, right? Going on a date, watching a movie, snuggling with each other. There's so many things that we lost in those 2 days. And again, once you start to quantify it over 3 years, that's a long time. We're very loose with our time. We allow time to slip away from us because we're not really quantifying it in those terms. And again, listen, not everybody's going to quantify things like that. But the truth of the matter is that's what the math is. And 3.9, that's almost 4 years that you're not going to get back. That's that moment that you could just kind of be like, you leave in the house and just like, forget it. I'm not going to talk to that person. They pissed me off. Right. And then worst possible case scenario is that would be the last, God forbid. And you lost, forget about the 4 years. You lost it forever. You know what I'm saying? So the point I really want to make with this and what I challenge people to do is to really take a look at what you're losing when you make that choice to not communicate, when you make that choice because out of frustration, you don't want to speak to that person for a day. It's one thing to say, hey, I need a minute. It's another thing that, what, let me remove myself for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. But it's another when you're talking about days. There should never come a time that you lose days, and that's kind of where it brought me, right? That just thinking like that. And again, some people are worse than others. You might have people that don't talk for 3, 4, 5 days, right? And that's why I'm saying my math may not be perfect and it might be completely wrong. But what I'm saying is I challenge you guys to really take a look at some of the things that you've done in the past and how you lost time and try not to lose any further. Once you start to quantify that time, you start to realize, damn, man, I could have said this. I could have done this. I wanted to do this. I could have been more, so on and so on and so on. I challenge you guys to pay a little bit more attention to that. That's what this conversation is about. Do what you do it well, do it the best way you know how. Jay Cotto, I am out. Peace.